Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, my little friend, Baby Shamu. She was a new girl in town in Hollywood back in 1989, and she had 7 heavy metal band members from a little known band. They pulled a train on her. And the next morning, they were all leaving the hotel, and she went running out the door after them because she thought she had let all of them do her at the same time. And she kind of thought that she was like special to them. It was sad. It was honestly, it was a little sad. Um, and yeah, she ran out there and she was begging them, wait, wait. And they were pretty rude about it. They were dicks. They were like, listen, we don't know you. Like, I mean, they didn't literally say that, but it was very that. We don't know you. We don't want to know you. You ain't right. We never thought you were right. It- you know, very those vibes. And poor baby Shamu, she was just crushed. Poor baby came back in and she was crying. And we consoled her, and so Terry had the bright idea that all of us, including baby Shamu and Tracy, and so it was me, Tracy, Terry, and Shamu. And we decided to run ads in a paper called the LA Express. And it was all over the city and the greater area back in those days. And they were in like newspaper vending machines, those little, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And they were free back in the day. I think they were free. Or were they $1? I don't remember, but anyway, you could get them all over the city, and a lot of escorts and prostitutes advertised in there for all kinds of things. There was even one woman in there that advertised for her own sexual church, and you had to pay to come to her to pray to her. Yeah, that was they busted her for it, though. I thought it was rather brilliant because freedom of religion, but, they busted her for it anyway. They said, no, bitch, that's not going to fly with us. So yeah, we ran ads, and I decided on the ad name Celeste, and I was going to be Celeste, and Terry was going to be Lauren, because nobody used their actual names when they did the ads, kind of thing. And we got an answering service, a real answering service where they would call and we could screen through the answering service and get our messages. We just thought we were just hot shit. We really did. We thought we were styling at this point. And, it allowed us to not have to go down to Santa Monica every single night if we didn't want to, because, God, we were fielding like 100 calls a day, probably, each, like 100 calls a day each. And God, I remember I had bought this poster of Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it was a life-size, 6-foot-tall poster of Jessica Rabbit. And it said, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way, her famous line. So one of the first dates that came over, he saw that poster in the little living room I had in my suite. And he asked me if he could pay me $100 to give him a few moments alone so that he could masturbate to Jessica. I cannot even make this shit up. I'm not kidding. I went into my bedroom and I gave him like 10 minutes of privacy for him to rub one out to Jessica Rabbit. A fucking cartoon made my money for me. So, yeah, I guess you could say I pimped out Jessica Rabbit for a day. But I remember that night. Now, because I had made good money off that guy. After the $100, I had made good money that day. And I think I had made like $400 or $500 on total. And so I told Terry and Tracy and Shamu, I said, come on, girls, let's go out, And we wanted to go check out a different part of town. So we went to a bar called the Black Light. The Black Light was on Western, over in that shady part of town where I said a lot of the cis girls hoard on the streets. Yeah, it was in those areas. And the Black Light, but it was very much a trans bar. So, what it was doing there, I'm not really sure. In that neighborhood, I don't really know. But the Black Light was definitely a trans bar. And so us girls all go there. And it was very like the name like the name implied. There was black lights, a lot of black lights. And it was dark, and it was, for a lot of the dolls, they would say that's perfect lighting. But, you know, anyway, so we're hanging out, and I see this one girl, tall, beautiful girl with long blonde hair, all up in this long ponytail, like a high ponytail. And she kept slinging her hair. Like, that's what I noticed the most, is that everywhere she went through the whole bar, it was just slinging and slinging and slinging and slinging and throwing it over her shoulder and throwing it this way and throwing it that way. You know, and I was like, girl, she is really full of herself with her hair, honey. She is loving her hair. And Terry and I were kind of, you know, we kind of kikied over it. So we're sitting there, and we're watching from our table, like by the dance floor. We're watching, you know, and the girl's at the bar, and she slings that damn ponytail in this other Latina girl's face. And the Latina girl reached into her purse, pulled out a pair of scissors, grabbed that bitch's ponytail, yanked her head back, and chopped her fucking ponytail off. Right there at the bar. Chopped the whole thing off, and it was like down to her ass. Just chopped the whole thing off. And if y'all want to know what happened next, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow, and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.